678 Albany. Called the sergeant and advised him.
Near midnight on February 13th, 2000, Georgia State Patrolman Kevin Colson was on duty in Albany, Georgia, when the National Weather Service broadcast that a tornado was on the ground in rural southwest Georgia and traveling in the direction of Camilla, Colson's hometown. Minutes later, a fellow trooper confirmed that the tornado had struck Colson's boyhood neighborhood. Unable to reach anyone by phone, Colson immediately began the 25-mile trip.
Try my father's residence again and see if you get an answer. I couldn't travel over 50 miles an hour because the weather was so bad. The rain was beating so heavy that I could barely see in front of me. In all that time that passed, I just prayed for the safety of my relatives and for the safety of the other people. I turned my headlights around to see the houses that were closest to the road, and they were completely demolished. Fear struck me. My worst fear that I had played out in my mind on the way down, I saw had come true.
Much of Camilla had been leveled by what would later be categorized as an F3 tornado. As Colson and another first responder stood in the middle of the road in front of what was once a neighborhood, a second incredible event occurred.
We heard an awful noise that was off in the distance. I asked him what that sound was, and he too didn't know for sure, but he said it sounds like a tornado. We jumped in the ditch. The ditch was waist high and water then, and we held on to the culvert. As the lightning would strike, you could see the rain just falling heavy in sheets. When the tornado got there, all the rain was going that way. It was going side to side. Nothing was touching the ground. I'll never forget that long as I live.
After the second tornado passed, Colson instinctively ran to what remained of the house closest to him. It belonged to Schott and Judy Schaller, longtime family friends.
You know, I was navigating my way with my flashlight. The trees were everywhere. The carport was blown down on the garage. There was no response from my first knock on the front door, so I went around to their side door, which was in their bedroom. And I beat on that door, and she called out, "We're trapped." And I said, "Aunt Judy, it's Kevin." And she said, "Kevin, get us out, we're trapped."
The Schallers were in a perilous situation. The tornado had knocked the house from its foundation and blown off part of its roof.
I went back to my car and got my axe, and I went to the side door on their bedroom where they were located. And, you know, I struck the doorknob several times, hoping to break it free.
But the door had jammed in place when the house fell from its foundation. Colson swung his axe at the door's center until he finally broke through.
I could see him in the wheelchair and her beside him, and they had blood on them from the debris, the glass in the house. The windows were busted. It was a relief to see them, because to see in their face that the ordeal was finally over.
For Colson, however, the ordeal continued throughout the night as he joined other first responders in their efforts to help all of the victims of the Camilla tornadoes. The twister winds had flattened neighborhoods, uprooted acres of trees, flipped semi-trailers, and ripped through power lines.
It was the stuff that you see on TV, with the devastation that tornadoes of this size and magnitude cause. You think, you know, what those people must have experienced. I can't put it into words. It took my breath away to see what I grew up and saw, all of these trees and houses here, real pretty and nice. Now they're gone, and there's nothing left. People walking around covered in blood, screaming for help. There's no way that I can compare it to any disaster I've ever witnessed.
In all, 11 people died and countless lives were torn apart that February night in Camilla, Georgia. But the next day saw the beginning of rebuilding and recovery, and another day on the job for Trooper Kevin Colson.
I love my job. You know, you come into this work thinking that maybe you'll make a difference. Maybe you can help somebody in need. It's all about helping people. You try to make a difference in somebody's life. Like these situations, when you have disasters, you help people, and that's your reward, to know that you help somebody.